Staghorn ferns, y'all. I love them so much. And once upon a time, several years ago, I tried to plant my own, and y'all, it died within a few weeks. And then I learned how to properly plant them. So I wanted to teach you how to properly plant them so that you can have this beautiful, crazy, weird plant at your own house. In the South, they get to be giant. Here at Stokely's, they have this one that's like this big, and it's so beautiful. And you'll see them under large oak trees around in the South. But how does that happen? I'm gonna show you where it all starts with this very small plant that we're gonna mount on this very small piece of wood. All right, you guys ready to get started? What you need for this project is wood screws, either fishing line, jute, or some sort of string, a piece of treated wood, a staghorn fern plant, sphagnum moss, and reindeer moss. Kind of already started off with this project by screwing screws in the front part, 4 of them to mount the staghorn fern, and then I've also done 2 in the back for mounting up on the wall when we're finished. Now, of course, you can also do a picture hanger in the back if you want to mount it that way. You can kind of mount it however you want, indoors or outdoors. You can pick and choose. And I'll kind of teach you how to take care of them as well, give you some tips on that. All right, let's get started. So you start off with your staghorn fern, it's right here, and we're going to plant it so that it faces this direction, okay? I think that's right. I hope that's right. I'm gonna ask. Nate, don't put that in there. I'm gonna have to ask. All right, so the first thing you do is to take the plant, the fern out of its planter, and you need to get rid of a lot of this bulk of this dirt. And so we're gonna do that by putting it back into the pot a little bit. They don't have a huge root system, and they don't need a lot of roots to grow. These are actually an epiphyte. Do you guys remember the resurrection fern and the Spanish moss are all epiphytes? This is also an epiphyte, which means that it grows on the side of trees, established trees, and they kind of care for themselves, which is exactly what the staghorn fern is going to do. Once you put all the ingredients together, you plop it where it's going to go. You might have to replant it once it gets larger, but for the most part, it pretty much just takes care of itself. All right, so this guy has a pretty good root structure on it, more than I was expecting. I expected it to kind of have a tiny one, so we might have a few more roots to deal with than I thought. All right, so once you get it kind of like this, we've got a lot, you can see there's plenty of dirt still here in the pot, and these are kind of the root structure that's left over. What you want to do is try to put your finger right in the middle and split it apart so that you can flatten it out so that it's got that flat back that's going to go up against this piece of wood. So we're kind of flattening it out just like that. And I'm going to take still some of it off so that it's going to fit on this mount. Okay, so you can see you've got this nice flat piece on the back of your staghorn fern. And I guess since we're working with a round piece, really we can turn it any direction we want. But so this is what it's going to look like here, ultimately. I'll show you guys here. Okay, that's how it's going to turn out. But before we get to that, we want to take this sphagnum moss. This has been soaking for a couple of hours, so it's nice and moist. You want to take some of this and put it onto your mount, like this. And then you want to create a little bit of a, like a little nest for it, basically, so that it sits in its cups, and that way when it rains, when it's on the mount or on a wall, the rain will fall down and it will kind of hold all that moisture that's going to water the plant. So I'm going to build this little cup for it. Okay. We're going to put our staghorn fern right there. You can pack it all the way around if you want. Get some sphagnum moss. And you guys remember those screws that we put back there? We're going to take this jute, this twine. You can use fishing wire. You can use any kind of line that you want. A lot of people like the fishing wire because it's clear, and so it doesn't show. But this jute is a natural color, and it's not really going to show either. But what you want to do is to tack onto those screws. Maybe maybe I'll tie a loop first, like a slip knot. Okay, so I got a little slip knot going. I'll put that onto this first screw to get me started and pull it tight. So we've got that one on there, and basically you want to go up and over and through and across to another one of the screws. Get down low so you guys can see it without my head in the way. And that's, you know, these screws were silver, you guys probably saw, and that's not a big deal because they're going to be covered with all this moss anyway, so it doesn't really matter what kind of screw you use. You just want to make sure that it's nice and tacked into the wood so that it holds whatever kind of line that you use. All right, so we got that on there tight. Move around this way. Find my other screw, and then I'll pull it across as well. All right, so I'm gonna cut off the excess jute here. So you can see you have this sphagnum moss around, and then what I'm gonna do is to go back. And really, you could leave it like this if you wanted. I mean, it's really beautiful as is with the sphagnum moss there underneath and hanging. But I'm gonna go back and add the more decorative moss to it. Again, you can use the white. I think the white's pretty for this purpose. And I'm gonna try to tuck it in. And if you want to, you can use more jute, which I may end up doing to make sure it all stays. But you can kind of see that decorative, so if you hang this on the wall, it's gonna have this kind of decorative, but yes, I really like it. Actually, I think I'm gonna take it off. I'm not gonna add it. I know it's kind of crazy. You guys can add that, that reindeer moss if you want, but I really like how it looks with just the sphagnum moss hanging. It just looks so natural. So this is how it would hang. You put it up on, you know, whatever kind of hook that you have in the back, or you can mount it inside your house. Just make sure if you're mounting it inside your house that you are watering it really regularly, because the HVAC system, your heating and your air, sucks all the moisture, or a ton of the moisture out of the air, and these guys really thrive on a really heavy, humid situation. That's why they do so well in the South. And so if you're hanging it inside, just make sure that you're misting it every day, and that you soak it once a week. You can literally just like put it in a bucket and let it soak until it's good and wet, and then put it back on the wall. If it's outside, you want to hang it on your tree, and really life will take care of itself. It will, in the South, it'll rain, the humidity from the air, and it will really take care of itself, and you don't ever have to do anything to it. And then hopefully when it's all said and done, it'll be as giant as the one that they have here at Stokely. So if you guys have any questions about this project, you can comment below. I'd be happy to answer any questions. And you know, if you want to too, you can also mount several of these on one board, like a big pallet. You could do an arrangement of them. I just think there's a lot of ways to really make this unique plant special to your own environment. So you guys enjoy. Let me know if you have any questions.